Good morning, children, and happy Father's Day 2023. As it has become my annual tradition, I am saying some thoughts, some words, just what's on my heart this Father's Day this year, in hopes that these are things that you'll learn from, grow from, experience life through, as I've done for many years now. As you all know as well, 2023 has been already an incredibly powerful year. I've learned and grown more this year than I believe I have in many, many years before. And it's all due to the death of my beloved mother and your beloved grandmother back in April. So I wrote a poem during that time. I think I read it or sent it to most of you, but it occurs to me to have it written, and because poetry is better heard than read, and by putting it and reading it on this video, I'll record it in a somewhat more permanent fashion. So here we go. Death. We can run from death and be left exhausted by the flight. We can fight with death and be left battered and bruised. We could, God forbid, yearn for death and be taken far too soon. Or we can learn from death and better understand the true meaning of life. I learned more about life through experiencing your grandmother's death than any other thing that occurred to me in life. I learned about life when I married your mother. I learned about life when each of you were born. I learned about life every day through going through challenges and struggles and successes. But being close to your grandmother's death, being close to her, not just physically, but spiritually, taught me to treasure every moment, but that sounds just cliche. It taught me the difference between the physical world and the spiritual world, and where those two worlds come together in each of us. And you can't have one without the other. And yet, as your physical world wanes, your spiritual world waxes, only if you fight and learn and do your best to understand it. If you live only a physical life, you're not achieving and you're not drawing close to those around you and also to the Almighty and the ultimate. But if you live just a spiritual life, you're not considering the reality of the here and now. You need both. Now, your grandmother prepared me for her death probably since I was at a very young age. She always told me she wanted it to be a time of joy. And she lived, thank God, an incredibly long and beautiful and powerful life. And I wish that upon each of you, and I wish that for myself, obviously, and your mother. And on Father's Day, of course, I'm thinking of my own father, your Papu, and many, God willing, years for him. But truly, I wish that each of you can understand that death is not something to fear, but death is something to learn from as you relate to the here and now and every day, and not to fear it, and yet not to obsess about it by any means. It is truly an incredible transition that is in store for all of us, and it's a gift if we can learn from it. And so on this Father's Day, I wish each of you life and understanding and drawing close to the ultimate and the Almighty through whatever means. I recommend prayer. I recommend study. I recommend dialogue with me or anybody else in your life that you know you can trust to understand these types of incredibly powerful principles. love you all very, very much. Happy Father's Day.